$300 million. That is a number attached to Blake Shelton's name right now, and not in the way he would want. Because while the world was watching him spin his chair on The Voice and slow dance with Gwen Stefani at country music events, something was quietly building behind the scenes. Something that his publicists could not spin, his lawyers could not bury, and his fans did not see coming. If you think you already know this story, you don't. Stick with me, because the part that matters is a part nobody led with. Let's go back to early 2024. Blake had just stepped away from The Voice after 23 seasons. 23. That is not a career. That is an institution. He was the longest-running coach in the show's history. NBC built promotional campaigns around his face. His departure was treated like a cultural moment. And on the surface, everything looked exactly the way a country superstar's life is supposed to look. The ranch in Oklahoma. The new bar and entertainment venue, ORED, operating across multiple locations. A marriage to one of the most recognizable pop stars on the planet. A brand that had survived 2 public divorces, a very messy social media era, and the kind of tabloid attention that destroys most careers in 5 years. Blake survived all of it. More than survive, he grew. But here is what nobody reported. The exit from The Voice did not just close a chapter. According to multiple industry sources, it removed the single most stable income structure Blake had maintained for over a decade. A structure that, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, was quietly holding a much larger financial architecture in place. And when that pillar came out, the cracks started showing almost immediately. The trouble did not arrive loudly. It rarely does for people at this level. It arrived in the form of business filings, legal notices, and a few very specific headlines that most casual fans scrolled right past. But the people paying attention, the industry insiders, the investors, the journalists who cover entertainment business, they caught it. And what they found was more complicated than a celebrity having a bad year. Blake Shelton did not just become a country star. He became a business. ORED, his bar and entertainment brand, expanded to 5 locations across Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Florida. According to Billboard, the venues were pulling in serious numbers during peak seasons. Merchandise, licensing deals, a tequila partnership, a real estate footprint in Oklahoma that local outlets estimated in the tens of millions. From the outside, it looked bulletproof. But every one of those ventures shared something in common. They were all built during the Voice years, launched during the Voice years, funded directly or indirectly, during a period when Blake had one of the most guaranteed paychecks in American television. NBC money is not regular money. It is consistent, contractual, and massive. And when it stopped, the businesses that looked independent suddenly looked very different. Before I go further, I want to ask you something. Do you think celebrities actually build lasting empires? Or do they just build expensive illusions? Drop your answer below. I read every single one. Blake Shelton is not someone who does business alone. Over the years, he built a tight circle. Managers, investors, partners who attach their names and their money to his brand. That is normal at this level. That is how empires scale. But according to business filings reviewed by entertainment reporters in 2023, several of Blake's ventures began showing strain. Delayed payments, restructured agreements. At least one ORED location faced operational questions that never got clean public answers. And then there were the partnerships. When you build a brand on personality, on your face, your name, your reputation, every business decision becomes personal. There is no separation. A bad deal does not just hurt the balance sheet. It hurts the image. And image, for Blake Shelton, is everything. It always has been. The people he trusted with that image were about to put it in a very difficult position. One detail buried in a 2023 business report would change how insiders viewed his entire operation. And most fans never saw it coming. It started with one article. Not a tabloid hit piece. Not a gossip blog. A straightforward entertainment business report, published quietly. No dramatic headline. No viral push. But the people inside the industry read it, and they started talking. By mid-2023, according to multiple outlets, including Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, the conversation around Blake Shelton had quietly shifted. Less about his music, less about his marriage, More about what his post-Voice career actually looked like without the NBC safety net underneath it. The new single numbers were modest, the old red locations were inconsistent, and the brand partnerships that looked so solid during the Voice years were quietly being renegotiated. Here is what nobody reported. Blake's team was working overtime to control the narrative. But controlling a narrative in 2023 is a different game than it was in 2013. Everything leaks. Everything gets screenshotted. And when your entire brand is built on being the lovable, straight-talking Oklahoma guy, the moment people start questioning the authenticity, it is very hard to walk that back. When Blake Shelton married Gwen Stefani in 2021, it was a branding moment as much as a love story. And that is not cynical. That is just the reality of two massive celebrities combining their public identities. Together, they were worth more than apart. Joint appearances, shared press, a narrative the tabloids could not get enough of, the country boy and the pop icon. It wrote itself. But here's the problem with building your image around a partnership. When one side of that partnership starts taking hits, the other side feels it too. By late 2023, gossip outlets, including TMZ and People, began running stories that had a different tone, less celebratory, more watchful. Sources close to the couple, speaking to various outlets, noted tension around the business pressures mounting on Blake's side of their shared empire. Gwen had her own brand, her own money, her own foundation completely separate from his, but their public image was fused. And a crack in Blake's reputation was now, whether she wanted it or not, a crack in hers too. Blake Shelton is not the kind of person who disappears quietly. When the pressure mounted, he did what he has always done. He leaned into the persona, the Oklahoma ranch, the hunting trips, the regular guy narrative that built his fan base in the first place. New music dropped in late 2023. It was not a massive commercial moment, but it was a statement, a signal to the industry that he was not stepping back. Old Red continued operating. His team quietly restructured certain partnerships according to sources familiar with the situation. The public face stayed consistent. And honestly, this part of the story hits different because most of us have had a moment where everything felt like it was slipping, where the thing you built, whether it was a business, a relationship, a reputation, started showing cracks you could not explain to anyone around you. You don't need a $300 million brand for that feeling to be real. If you have ever been there, you already understand exactly what this period looked like for Blake behind closed doors. Here is the honest picture. Blake Shelton is not broke. He is not finished. And anyone telling you his career is over is selling you a headline, not a story. But the Blake Shelton of 2024 is operating in a fundamentally different reality than the Blake Shelton of 2014. The Voice money is gone. The guaranteed platform is gone. And the business ventures that looked bulletproof during those years are now being tested in real market conditions for the first time. According to industry analysts following entertainment business trends, post-network celebrities face a brutal adjustment period. Most never fully recover their peak income structure. Some rebuild smarter. Some don't rebuild at all. Which version of Blake Shelton we are watching right now, that is still being written. Now, I told you the story gets deeper, and I meant it. The video dropping next covers the one name connected to Blake's business circle that nobody is talking about yet. Click here. Watch it now. You'll understand why I saved it for last.